If you're listening to this or watching this, that means you are part of the Resistance, and the Resistance base is open. So welcome back, everybody. This is the Resistance broadcast. I'm John. How are you guys? Thanks so much for joining us today. We have a very good episode in store for you today because we have some really cool news that we're going to dive into and give our takes on, including that Kevin Feige stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And joining me, as always, James and Lacey. Guys, the base is open. Everyone's in the base with us. They're ready to talk Star Wars. I'm pretty pumped about this news. What's going on? How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm excited. There's a lot of stuff going on. I've been telling a lot of friends, coworkers, different things like that. I'm like, it's about to get crazy. It's about to ramp up. You got the toys, you got the books, you got the comics, you got the television shows, you got the animated shows, and of course, you got the movies. And they're all coming, and it's going to be whack. Not whack, wild. I don't know. I was trying to look for a crazy word, and that made it seem stupid.
Oh, jeez. Oh, am I going now?
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Thanks for that intro.
Every week, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but you usually say, oh, hey, Lacey. And then I go, hey, John. And you ask me how I'm doing.
I asked you both how you doing. How you doing?
All right. Well, I'm super excited for the toys this Friday. Yep. I don't know what I'm going to get yet. It might be the Dio, but we'll get into that. And then I'm kind of not digging the name of Kylo Ren's ship. I think it's kind of weird.
The TIE Whisper?
Yeah, it's not a fan. Silencer, you're like, oh, snap. He's going to silence people. Well, like Whisper, you're like, what? Why? Why are you whispering?
When I hear silencer, I think like a weapon tool.
Yes, like James Bond with a silencer on his pistol. Yeah.
Right. But then when you hear whisper, you're like, what are we whispering about?
Yeah.
The ship's not really quiet. We saw it in the trailer.
You know what, though? It's like, I remember when the silencer was a big deal in TLJ, and he used it for like 4 seconds. And it's like in those Batman movies when they're like, the new bat thing, and it's like the bat wing, and he uses it for like 8 seconds. Like this movie, he's probably going to use it in that one scene where he like flies by.
Yeah, but I want to know who came up with that name. Pablo?
You think it was Pablo?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably JJ. So like, hey guys, how about this? He's a very loud character, so we'll make his vehicle like the opposite of that for a little yin yang, and we'll call it TIE Whisper.
Incredible.
Incredible. Incredible. I don't even need other opinions. It's incredible. Okay, bye. Like story groups like, JJ, can we consult? He's like, what's a story group? Okay, bye. But anyway, no, I'm pumped. We have a lot of cool stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about the Feige stuff, some comic stuff, and of course, a little try to connect the dots with some Force Friday stuff from that stream that happened this past Thursday. And we'll talk a little bit about our adventure to Comic-Con later this week as well. But first, as always, poll results. We got a good one right now. Okay, so which new character from The Rise of Skywalker are you most excited to see? Your choices were Zorii Bliss, Jannah, Dio, a.k.a. the Pizza Cutter, as we call him on the pod, General Pryde, a.k.a. General Smiley, as we call him on the pod. And the results are last place, 10%, Dio, 20%, General Pryde, 22%, Jannah, and the winning vote, almost half of the votes, Zorii Bliss. I was not surprised by this. I feel like Zorii Bliss is probably the most interesting of the new characters coming out. We don't even know what she looks like. Someone brought up she may even be an alien when she takes the mask off. We really have no idea. So Lacey, James, what'd you guys think of this? What'd you vote for? And both of those things. I couldn't think of a third thing.
I voted for Zorii Bliss. First of all, that is like hands down one of the coolest Star Wars names ever. Mm-hmm. Like people always talk about names, like that is a cool Star Wars name. Yeah. Second of all, she has one of the coolest costumes. There's so much mystery around her. She hangs out with Poe, knows Poe. So yeah, I'm definitely most interested in her. Okay. And I want to see her in some fight scenes.
Yes. Right on.
James.
I voted for Jannah.
Nice.
Because I have a feeling that she's going to be a really cool, like, underplay character. And I kind of like I think Zori's cool, but I don't like her costume. I think it's kind of dumb. And anytime she hasn't done anything cool, like every time you see her pose, it looks like she's just like standing there. And it looks to me like if you took a model or not a model, but what do they call those? Like a mannequin, from a store. And then you put like a Darth Vader helmet on it. And it's like a naked mannequin, like with a Darth Vader helmet. That's what I think of when I think of Zorii Bliss.
Okay.
Because she hasn't done anything. She's just standing there.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I kind of get this like vibe from Jannah, like where she's like, you know, pulling the bow and arrow, and like there's another one where she's like standing in the field, and like she kind of has like a vibe about her. So I'm more interested in that character, and I think the Jannah is very directly related to Lando, and maybe even directly related to Lando. So. So
It's
I think
interesting.
there's something going on with that. Whereas I think Zorii Bliss is like a third party that like they say she knows Poe or something. She's just kind of coming in.
That's funny because you usually never do the they're related to somebody thing, but you're saying that you think she is.
Yeah, I'm with you, because anytime somebody's like, oh, Finn, he's black, so he's got to be related to Lando or something.
That happened.
But like in this particular case, like I think there's something like we've heard Naomi Aki talk about how like she's keeping her relation to Lando secret, and how her backstory is, we can't talk about that, you know, and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe that like, we're going to go find Lando. We're going to Pisana. We're going to go to the place. He's going to be at the party. He's going to come out of the tent, and then he's going to introduce Jannah as his daughter and potential leader of this tribe or whatever in the future. Well, I don't know. I just get that vibe.
All right. I mean, we'll talk more about them later when we get into the Force Friday stuff. My only concern with the Jannah thing is I hope it's not another one of those things where she's so good, because they're pairing her up with Finn, it looks like. You know, anytime you see her, if she's not by herself, she's with Finn. I hope it's not one of those things where she like knows what she's doing and he's like fumbling around again. I just feel like Finn is always just getting like the fumble around job, and I hope he's actually like, no, I can do this too now. But we'll see.
Right.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
But yeah, I mean, I voted for Zorii Bliss, like you, Lacey, just because of the like whole curiosity of what's under the mask is a big thing to me. Is she going to take the mask off? What's the deal with Poe? Is she connected to Rey? Like, people are wondering about the ship. It's clear by the action figure setups. Again, I guess we'll get into that later, that she may be a little more resistancy than bad guy. But anyway, our best comment went to old friend Len Brown, who now goes by @NauseousGamer. Len's like, I'm a dad and I don't care. He's like, I play games and I get nauseous sometimes, and that's just how it is. He said, I'm excited to see a new character, if the rumors are correct, is named R2-D2. He is a type of robot that rolls around on 3 legs and beeps a lot. So Len does not care about the new characters. He wants R2-D2, but he got the most likes, and that's the way you play the game. That's how you get on the podcast. So good job there, Len. Appreciate that. And now it's time where we usually move on to the Resistance Report, but a lot of you guys are tuned in. You're new to the podcast. Why? Because you signed up for this giveaway, and this giveaway is the Make Solo 2 Happen giveaway. That's right. This past week was the 1-year anniversary of the Blu-ray release of Solo: A Star Wars Story. So we put together a little package for you. It is an autographed picture of Chewbacca by Joonas Suotamo, a Make Solo 2 Happen t-shirt, which one of us probably should have been wearing to show that off, but that's okay. You guys know what it looks like by now. Han Solo dice, an exclusive AMC poster, Never Tell Him the Odds from Solo: A Star Wars Story theater release, and some stickers and stuff like that. So the winner is not you, but Nerd Dad Fall at Nathaniel Hardy. Yeah! Round of applause. Woo! The crowd goes absolutely wild. Some people just turned the podcast off, but most of you stuck around because you know we have a hell of a show coming up. But congratulations to Nathaniel. We will send you a message to get your information and get all this awesome stuff out to you. Thanks for joining. There was about 500 people who entered that thing. So never tell you the odds, Nathaniel. You beat the odds, so congratulations to you. And thank you everyone who entered. But don't worry if you didn't win. As always, we do keep going with these giveaways in the future. We'll have another one up. Safe to say in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, it is time to hand the baton to my friend James Bainey, who's going to get into the Resistance Report. So James, what's cooking this week, man?
It's the Resistance.
What's cooking is those X-Wings as they fly over the water to save Han, Chewie, and Finn and the rest of our good friends at Maz's Castle. Yeah. We got some crazy stories this week, guys. We got some stuff to talk about. We will be talking about a comic again. I don't know what is it with these Age of Resistance, but all of a sudden comics are cool. But we also got that. We got some Triple Force Friday coming up. But let's talk about Kevin Feige.
Crazy.
Kevin the Man Feige. So this actually, this was a Hollywood Reporter exclusive. They sat down with Alan Horn, who is the Walt Disney Studios co-chairman, and he's
like Bob by your light.
Yeah, Bob Light.
Bob by your light.
Yeah, but Alan Horn was sitting down and he was talking about a bunch of different stuff. And one of the things that he dropped was, that Kathleen Kennedy is, and I'm going to quote him here, pursuing a new era in Star Wars storytelling, and knowing what a diehard fan Kevin is, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together. So the news kind of came as this guy who has built up all of what was the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and something that fans have speculated for a long time. They got this guy. Are they ever going to use him? And it's been, from what I've seen, from what I've personally seen, is no, he's a Marvel guy. He likes Star Wars, but he's staying there. And it just looks like this is going to happen now. They're bringing him over. So I'm going to start with John on this one. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is... I hate saying it like this. Do you think that this possibly could be like a Kevin, we need your help, come and fix this?
Not necessarily, though. I mean,
okay,
it's possible. You can't rule anything out, but I don't think there's anything that needs fixing. But the last episode 9 is probably going to rack like $1.7 billion, so I'm sure they'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But I think it is one of those things saying like the crutch is now gone. We can no longer rest our laurels on this nostalgia of the Skywalker saga. We're making it clear this is the end of that story. So we do need to launch new movie stories. Now we have, obviously, the Benioff and Weiss thing, first of which is 2022. So we have 3 years until that. And then Rian Johnson's 3 movies still floating around. Now the question is this one movie going to spawn into other things? Is this going to be Kevin Feige's and Lucasfilm's like Iron Man that's going to kick off something else, a little Star Wars universe sort of storytelling thing? Is it going to come out before the Benioff and Weiss movies? Are those things getting shifted around because of him coming in on board? So a lot of those questions. One thing I want to talk about is I see a lot of things going around online where people are immediately doing the Marvel comparison, and for good or bad, they're like, "Oh God, the Marvel movies are fluff and blah blah blah." He's gonna bring that to Star Wars and make Star Wars stink. And it's like, well, he didn't write or direct any of these movies. He just produced them. And he's an excellent producer, and he's able to keep the cohesiveness between his filmmakers. And that's a huge deal. And Kathleen Kennedy recognizes that. So I take that away. Don't think about that so much. And then the other thing, people are like, I got to bring up actors from Marvel that he'll work with now. And the Russo brothers are going to write this movie. I'm like, I really don't think that's going to happen because Lucasfilm wants this to stand on its own. They don't want to be like, we're taking the Marvel model completely and bringing it over. That would be like saying we're waving the white flag. We need to do what Marvel's doing. So I think you can take anyone else who's been affiliated with Kevin Feige from Marvel and wipe them off the board. I don't think they're going to be involved. And that goes for actors in big roles and the Russo brothers. So that's my start off point here.
Yeah, I can agree with some of that. I definitely don't think that they're going to like say, like, oh, Brie Larson, you get over here. Oh, Chadwick Boseman, you get over here. Like, I don't think it's going to be as direct as that. Yeah. I think you're probably going to see some people carry over, and then that narrative is going to end up inevitably happening. Like, oh, they just pulled them because they were good in that. No, I think it's because the Marvel movies are huge movies that are pulling in great talent. It's like almost everybody who's good is like considering being in one of these Marvel or sure. like getting involved somehow to that degree, involved in their properties. Lacey, what are your thoughts on Kevin Feige? Is this something that you want? Do you think it will be too Marvel-esque?
No, I think Kevin's a huge fan. He was on the Star Wars show months ago talking about how he's always been a fan, how he's pulled different ideas and stuff from Star Wars to bring into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think that immediately everyone freaks out because they're like, what does this mean? Is he going to just turn it into this or turn it into that? I think you need to take a step back and just remember that he's an uber successful producer who has built the Marvel Cinematic Universe into what it is. And not only that, taking a step back from that, as a Spider-Man fan, he saved Spider-Man from the disastrous series that it was like going on. Like, he saved it from that and brought it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he has great ideas. He knows what he's doing. He's got a consistent track record that I don't think it automatically means he's going to make it into Marvel. I just think he knows what works and what doesn't in narrative storytelling. And I think that he also knows how to produce a really good movie. And he knows how to make good decisions. And he's proved that. Just like Benioff and Weiss have proved how to make a good TV show and a good narrative. So I think they're just stacking their lineup with people that they know have done good jobs with what they've done so far, Marvel and Game of Thrones. So I can't understand why anybody would be like, no, I don't want that. Why wouldn't you want the best of the best to bring in the new era of Star Wars? It's the only thing that makes sense. Seeing as Star Wars had changed filmmaking when it started. So why wouldn't you want to get back to that point where it's changing everything with new stories, new characters, and new ideas and new technology, which at this point, Marvel are the ones that are doing it. So it only makes sense. I can understand, though, that there is that, like, are they doing it for money? Which is kind of that argument that people have, are like, are they bringing him in because he makes a lot of money? And are they looking to just make it into a cash cow? And of course, they're a business. They want to make money. But I don't think that's the case with Star Wars because it is such an important franchise. But that's just me. But then again, I thought the same thing about Harry Potter, and they're driving that one into the ground. So who knows?
I mean, wasn't it, correct me if I'm wrong, James, real quick, wasn't it like a year or so ago where Bob Iger, when he was talking about rethinking the Star Wars model, didn't he allude to saying where we may look to more proven, established talent? I believe he said something like that. They're not going to take risks, I think is what the quote was. We're not going to take as many risks with who we hand these movies off to. I mean, who better than Kevin Feige?
Dude makes a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't particularly remember that quote, but it sounds definitely like something Bob would have said. I can say that when it comes to Kevin Feige coming in here, like, one thing we got to remember is we keep thinking, well, is he just going to turn Star Wars into the Marvel thing? But to me, he's yet to show that isn't his only trick, you know? Like, his specialty isn't just creating Marvel cinematic universes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, this guy came in and he did something. He kind of took the movie industry and he said, what if it was like this? And it was something we'd never ever thought of or believed was possible. And he totally achieved it with like such massive success that it's unbelievable. And so it almost makes me think like he's someone to keep an eye on, because he could come in to Star Wars and go, what if we did this? And we're all like, good luck. But it's like he makes it work, you know? And he does it again, like twice. He completely revolutionizes cinema.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Who knows, man? I mean, why wouldn't we want to put Star Wars in the hands of that guy? I mean, do we really think that he's going to wreck it and ruin it? His track record completely goes against that mindset. So I definitely think it's a win. And even if it's completely not that at all, they're like, no, we're not thinking like big plans. Honestly, it just came down to this. Kevin Feige was like, yo, throw me one of those Star Wars movies. I just want to have fun for like a weekend, you know, or whatever.
You know,
I'm still down.
The two most
like,
successful,
cool, he's got the ability to do it.
The two most successful movie producers right now are now working together to develop a Star Wars movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's unbelievable to me. And which brings me to my next point. People were saying like people were really upset about this announcement and stuff, and I didn't see a lot of that on my timelines.
I didn't
online.
either.
So I don't know where that's coming from. Maybe it was one person, and then people. I feel like oftentimes people, for every one complaint, 40 people talk about the complaint, which makes you think there's more complaining going on than there is.
I saw a lot of complaints. That makes you.
Did you really?
I didn't. What are the complaints?
Yeah, exactly. What
that they could have picked someone of color. They could have picked someone with some diversity. That kind of argument of,
Okay.
That was the argument.
Yeah,
I don't think it was a downplay of what he's done. It was that they're not pushing the envelope. But going back to what you said, John, is if Bob Iger's looking at this as a business transaction and he's saying, look, I just want people that have delivered money / successful franchises. Kevin Feige is it.
Yeah, and let's not forget that Michelle Rejwan just got promoted. She's like second in command at Lucasfilm.
Sure.
And there's up until from 1977 to 2005, 28 years, there were 6 Star Wars movies. Right now, for the next 10 years, there are 7 Star Wars movies planned, only one of which has a director, which is the first Rian Johnson movie.
Right.
And not all of them have writers either. And that's not including the 3 streaming series we have coming up.
Sure.
So there's a lot of opportunities, and they're obviously listening. I mean, you have Vic Mahoney was second unit director on Episode 9. I mean, that's a huge deal. And then the thing here's I guess my problem with this. You can't say on one hand, because this happens, Kathleen Kennedy is the queen. She's the genius. She's the best. We stan Kathleen Kennedy. And then on your other hand say, Lucasfilm is tone deaf. They don't know what they're doing. Kathleen Kennedy is that person. She knows what's going on. She's a very successful businesswoman and producer for over 40 years. She knows exactly what's going on more than you do sitting behind your computer at home in your basement. I'm sorry. They're going to hire a lot of diverse people to create Star Wars in the future. Star Wars is just starting. Like we're saying goodbye to the Skywalkers. There's going to be more Star Wars content coming in the next 10 years that will make the last 40 years fit in 10% of Star Wars content. So I think we all need to pump the brakes a little bit, where we got our hands on the trigger and we're ready to just shoot these fan bullets. And it's just like, let them make choices first. All they said was he's developing a movie. No director announcement, no writer's announcement, no cast announcement. If they went out and filled all that with all of one type of demographic, I understand. But let them at least make the choices and let us know what they're doing first. Let's be a little common sense logical about it.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me a lot of the Jon Favreau situation. Because he was, if you remember, he was announced on International Women's Day. And at first that was a big thing. But it was later cleared up because they were like, hold on, wait, there's a reason we're putting this person in his position. Yes, because of his track record, but because he specifically wants to do this with all of his directors. And after we got all the directors announced, we got women, we got people of different nationalities and colors, different levels of expertise as well, with like Bryce Dallas Howard like coming in to direct, and it's like she's not necessarily known as a director, but like it's all about giving opportunity to people that we think could handle the job. Also the same with JJ as well. Like, okay, yeah, white male director. Yeah, I get it. But like, look at like what he's doing, what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to do the same thing that everybody's doing. He's like, he cast a person of color, or he cast John Boyega specifically as black. He put Daisy Ridley as a female lead. You know, it's like clearly like trying to solve the issues, and it just doesn't mean we need to snuff those people out. And again, this is not supposed to be a political thing, but yeah, I'm totally down with Kevin. I mean, look at the wide range of diversity in those movies as well, you know, and stuff. So, all right, cool. Gosh, that almost turned
one question,
heavy-handed.
One question, I guess. I mean, those conversations have to happen, though, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you guys think this is going to be a blank canvas, new story, boom? Or do you think this is going to be any connectivity here? Like, do you think a Kevin Feige wants to come in and do something based on something established? Because technically Marvel was already established characters, right? We didn't necessarily all know Iron Man, but it was something that existed before. And granted, he's not doing writing or directing, but as a producer, do you think he's, you know, where do you think they're going with this kind of thing? Like a launching pad with brand new stories, or what? Because I have no pulse. I have no idea.
I honestly don't know either. I haven't really given it much thought.
And do you think they're connecting with the other guys? Like, didn't Kathleen Kennedy say Ryan is working with Benioff and Weiss? Like, are they all going to be working together?
So, yeah. So that I brought that up a while ago, which was, how do we not know that the Rian Johnson and the Benioff Weiss isn't the same deal? Which you brought up, well, when it was announced, it was like so-and-so was writing and then they were writing. So, you know, it kind of contradicted a little bit. But I think my point was things change, you know, like that's a smaller thing to me. Like, oh, we announced Rian Johnson is doing a trilogy. Oh, it just so happens to be the same trilogy as these other guys. Like that's a smaller change. But with this announcement of Kevin Feige coming in, I thought that immediately. I was like, oh, okay, so this means a new movie. Or does it? Maybe she's just working him as a producer and he's going to overlook and oversee and set up some of the other stuff that is already being worked on. I mean, I think that's a very reasonable possibility. I don't think any of us can have an opinion one way or the other. We could guess, but I think both are very likely propositions.
I think he's working on something else. And I think Rian Johnson has his own trilogy. I think Benioff and Weiss have their own trilogy. And I think Kevin's coming in to do something different. If not, do something different that ties into their stuff. Because he's all about the connecting things. So.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if if Benioff and Weiss are the first movie on the current schedule to come out in 3 years, is his going to be before that?
It might.
Like maybe
I don't think so because of, well, I don't know. I was going to say, I don't think so because of Celebration, like the way they've laid out Celebration and D23 and stuff. It just falls so perfectly in with the release of the Benioff and Weiss stuff.
I don't think they're planning their movie productions based on fan conventions, dude.
They're definitely not. They'll just plan around whatever's there that year. Whether it be Celebration or D23, that's just what they'll promote.
Imagine them like read pop go, Mr. Feige, you can't release your movie this year because that's the Celebration year.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Celebration is created to be the promotional event for a movie.
Yeah.
It was created way before the movies, though. It was created during a time when they thought they weren't going to get any more.
Was it prequel
No.
Yes.
era before prequels?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was during
before the-
prequel.
Yeah, the first one I think was
Wasn't it like
Revenge of the Sith.
late
Revenge of
80s
the
or
Sith.
something.
No,
Yeah.
no. It was Denver in Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, wasn't it like really like under a tent, like
In the mud.
in the mud, like Woodstock?
Yes. Yes.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, so I think I'm wrong, and I think I was referring to the first Star Wars convention, not specifically Star Wars Celebration. But
Celebration's only
I-
on like Celebration 8 at this point.
Yeah.
I know, but like because they didn't do it for, or they did it. Okay, I'm pretty confident that it came out though in setup for Phantom Menace. Did it not?
No.
Okay,
Celebration
she
was
says no.
created for fans to celebrate Star Wars. It was not created to promote or celebrate or like to promote the movies. It was just
Well,
an after fact.
Either way, it has no effect, like we were saying, on when
Right.
they're coming out with a movie.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I just thought it's telling of when we're going to get movies when they have Celebration because it's the promotional lead up.
I don't think so.
Like, oh, we're doing a giant Journey to the Something series of books and comics. It's like, oh, well, they used that Journey to the nomenclature as the lead up to a movie. So if they're doing it then, they're probably getting a movie then too.
I think we're Feigeing in 2021.
No, man, I don't think so.
Yeah, well,
That's too soon.
all right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll find out. Nobody knows.
We know nothing.
Are you guys? Yeah, we know nothing. We are Jon Snow. You guys want to talk about another Age of Resistance comic?
All the comics.
Really, John? All right, let's do it.
From
Let's
the
do it.
belly
All
of
right.
the beast. Yeah.
Age
Literally.
of Resistance, Kylo Ren comic coming out. I feel like we got to talk spoilers on this one. I feel
why
like
not?
if you're holding out, you can jump forward, but it's really not that big of a deal. It's just one small adventure with Kylo Ren.
I thought you were gonna like warm my heart and say it's not that big of a deal. It's just a comic.
No. It's just one small adventure because the comics.
Just kidding.
Lacey, start us off with this one. Did
Can
you
you
read
start
it? Did
with
you
me
like
for
it?
the toys? Because I actually care about the toys.
Well, because I don't want to sit here and talk with John and not have your opinion on whether you like this or not.
Yeah.
We'll start with you on the toys as well.
The comic's okay. Kylo shows up. He gets mad at some people. He proves them wrong. End of comic.
That's pretty much the entire summary.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to downplay it. I just feel like these comics have
Lacey,
been
don't
like,
even worry. I'm about to downplay it.
because I feel like these comics have been like other ones I feel like have had beats where I'm like, oh, that's really cool. This one was literally, he shows up. He's like, you're going to listen to me. And they're like,
Yeah,
no,
but-
we're not. And then he's like, yes, you are.
Yeah,
and then he kills something and everyone's like, wow, you were right. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, that's the end.
But that's what comics are supposed to be. Like, we've turned comics into these like holy grails of like, this proves the narrative of the movie. Like, they're supposed, like, comics, if you look at the old Star Wars comics from like back in the day, on the cover, Luke's lightsaber was like red. It had a hilt. He was like wearing weird clothes. Like, it wasn't like a big deal at all. And there were fun little side stories where you would buy them and talk to your friends and have a good time with them. That's what this is to me. Like, this is like, and also it's Kylo Ren finally being a jerk and being evil. And, it's not him being like, well, I don't know if I should. He's like, no, you don't like me? Blang! Lightsaber to the side of your head. Oh, I'm going to dive into that god monster's stomach? Blang! I'm bursting out with my lightsaber. How you like me now, Stormtrooper guy who knew my grandfather? Eat it. Like, I like that. It's stupid. It's fun. It shows him being evil. Yeah, I'm completely fine with this. It's exactly what a comic is supposed to be to me. I don't know why I'm yelling. I have no idea.
Because John reads all the comics all the time. He knows what exactly.
Well,
a
I
comic
don't
should
read all
be.
the comics because most of them are like this over dramatic crap. Like, give me some fun. And this is stupid fun, and I like it.
Yeah. I think
Again,
that
I
the
don't know why
comics
I'm yelling.
generally, while they don't always do it, but I think generally
much
they
coffee.
do try to fit within the tone of Star Wars. And so if somebody were like, but comics didn't used to be like this. There's like Archie goes to the beach. It's like, well, yeah, but I don't want Kylo Ren going to the beach.
Archie,
and I don't want.
Where are you getting
I know,
Archie
that's what I'm
from
saying.
now, all
Like,
of a sudden?
I think that there's a certain kind of expectation when it comes to Star Wars, and I think maybe like back in the day they didn't used to be like this, but Star Wars didn't even used to be like this, and now we kind of look at everything through the lens of like, well, it all kind of matters and it all kind of makes sense. I've said good things and bad things about the comics before, but this to me was just dumb. Like, and it wasn't even dumb in the sense of like, it wasn't even dumb in the sense of like, I just didn't like what they did, which is true. I didn't like how they handled the character. The first half is okay. He comes in, he wants to be like Vader, and he talks to the guy, and they're like, you know, all that happens, and he kills the guy. I get that. I like that, Kylo Ren. That's cool. After that happens, that's like when it completely derails for me. He actually, in this comic, he without hesitation bests Vader, does something that Vader could not do. And so they make Vader look weak and they make Kylo Ren look extraordinarily stronger than Vader, which in every other thing has been the case that that's not true.
So he's a
not
Kylo
Vader.
Sue?
He wants to be like Vader, but can't ever quite make that. And I don't know. Also, it doesn't seem like his character. Can you picture Adam Driver being like, oh, that thing, I'm going to take it out. Quick, get my shuttle. I'm going to fly up to the top of this thing and I'm going to jump in his mouth and then I'm going to cut my way out. Like, that's ridiculous. That would never happen.
That's a Batista move.
Exactly. And this is my biggest reason why it's dumb. The Zillo Beast has armored plates that can't be broken by a lightsaber. It can't cut through the skin of a Zillo Beast with a lightsaber. So guess what? Just like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 pointed out, the skin is just as thick on the inside as it is on the outside. Kylo Ren completely pulls a Drax and goes in and is trying to cut through. And the point of this major motion picture that was released is that's stupid because it's not going to make any difference. And a character like Drax isn't smart enough to figure that out. But Kylo Ren does it for some reason, and he's able to somehow, magic, I guess, he is able to cut through the skin from the inside out, which doesn't make sense.
He had a laser sword.
You can't cut it with the laser sword. That's the whole point.
Why not? The comic
He's
says
the Zillo Beast.
The comic is the comic is canon. It says you can.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying this comic is dumb because it's like, John. Well, what
point is, John, that he's saying that in previous canon things, you can't cut through. You can't all of a sudden decide, oh, yes, he can, when it's already been established he can't.
The Zillo Beast is like,
yes.
it has this impenetrable armor that
his lightsaber
Palpatine was looking at.
With the crackling blade has a different effect on Zillo skin or intestines.
No, there's no way. It's either a lightsaber cuts through it or it doesn't, whether it's crackling or not.
Well, it did. Yeah. So I don't know. It's like.
But that's what I'm saying. Is like it's dumb because that's the point. They bring up the Zillo Beast and they're like, oh, this is why Vader couldn't defeat it because it's basically an indefeatable thing. A lightsaber does no damage to this creature, and then Kylo Ren through his pure ignorant confidence goes, oh yeah, well I can do it. And then without testing it at all, he just jumps inside and tries to do the stupidest thing possible, which is cut through
It's very Han Solo of him.
What if, yes, I agree. What if this comic, instead of like us trying to take it too seriously, serves as just some kind of allegory for who Kylo Ren is at this point, which is someone trying to overcompensate for who he really is by...
Right, but they should have used a different monster. That's what James is saying. You can't say, no, you can't cut through this, and then he's like, I'm going to cut through it, and then they just disregard what's already been established.
I couldn't have cared less about what type of monster.
And also, I don't think he's the kind of person who would jump and, like, let the thing eat him.
He definitely isn't.
I mean, Han Solo let the space worm eat them, and they got out of that.
He didn't let the space. He thought he was in a cave.
Yeah, well, same.
He didn't let it.
He's not like,
I'm sure they'll write a
watch
comic
me
about
get.
it.
He didn't
Watch
Men in
me
Black it
fly
like,
into
I'm going to get my gun back. And he like jumps in and his legs are sticking up out the top.
No, I guess I'm just trying to look for the silver lining here about this little one-shot comic. Like, I'm not trying
The old Stormtrooper is the silver lining for me.
I like Kylo Ren saying, "Your God is dead." I also like him saying, "Now you worship only the First Order," and all these people are bowing down to Kylo Ren. I like that as opposed to Kylo Ren being mopey and writing in his diary. I think we need more of this. I think we're going to get more of this. And that's why I like this. But like in the Hux one,
Kylo Ren, wasn't this Kylo Ren, doesn't this take place before Last Jedi?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is before he's mopey. So you won't get more of this. He's going to be mopey.
He was mopey in TFA too. He's just a constantly mopey. The thing about it is like in the Hux comics, James, in this series, I said last time when we talked about that one that he said things that didn't sound like Kylo Ren to me, like talking about like meat and stuff like that. Like there's comics where Han Solo's shirtless chopping down trees. Like it's just
loved it.
They're weird. I'm sorry. They're just, and I don't take them all that seriously. So I try to take what I can from them that's fun. And when I read them, that's all.
But basic canon things like, oh, this specific monster can't be penetrated by a lightsaber.
I'm sure if you asked Mac Martin, he'd explain why that happened.
Matt, why is the Zillo Beast?
Yeah, we looked into it too, and like me and a coworker, like because they do say that they were able to figure out a way. If you watch the episodes of the Clone Wars, like they were able to figure out these little areas of it where it was kind of able to be damaged or hurt or whatever. But like they don't even mess with that. They just like straight up, like he just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to let it eat it and then I'm going to cut it from the inside out. Stupid thing.
Right.
But then when they even show it, it's like, it's not him trying to come out of like one of the in-between joints or plates or whatever. It just literally looks like he's cutting through the exact area that on the outside.
I'll go back to not reading the comics.
It's like Hercules cutting through the Hydra in Hercules Disney.
It's like Clark Griswold cutting that turkey and then it explodes everywhere.
No, because he literally in Hercules does this exact move. He cuts through the stomach and comes out, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, Hercules is fine."
Is it like Ace Ventura coming out of the rhinoceros?
No.
Oh.
Because he's not
Lacey,
cutting
Triple
out
Force
of it.
Friday.
Yes.
Triple Force Friday. What comics
Triple
are on sale
Force
next Friday?
Triple Force.
Oh, that's this Friday. That's this Friday.
It is.
So
It's this. Yeah.
All right.
hold on. Before we start,
Yeah, I don't even want to explain what it is.
Can we-
Triple Force Friday, lots of products.
there's no midnight thing for Target, Lacey, that we're not doing that anymore?
We could do Walmart.
Whatever.
We'll decide at a later date.
Yeah. All right, so what do we got here? We saw a live stream of a lot of the characters from the upcoming properties, or a lot of the actors for the upcoming properties, getting to look at their characters and the toys and some of the stuff that's coming out. And then after that, was there some sort of display or something that people were like kind of able to look at? Is that
Yeah, they
kind
had a
of thing?
press event
Yeah.
that they could walk around and look at a closer look. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then with that, that's how we got a couple more reveals of a few other things. I guess the best thing to talk about this is like, what did we learn? Anything cool? And are we going to be buying anything? So, Lacey, let's start with you.
So I'm very excited. I think the coolest thing that everybody was talking about was the Dio, the phone-operated Dio droid that you can roll around, which I find interesting. It's done by Hasbro, not Sphero, which did the BB-8 and the R2-D2 and the BB-9E. So I guess they're out. Hasbro's in. They didn't list any prices for anything, which is also interesting to me. They didn't say any of the prices for anything, so we'll see what the prices are. I'm excited for that. I'd love to get one. I think they're really cool, like the droid itself. I'm not big on the character yet. Maybe I will be once I see the movie. Other than that, what I learned from the live stream is the only people that are excited for toys are Naomi, Jannah, Pedro Pascal, and Gina Carano. Everybody else is kind of like, oh, look, it's another toy. It's me. It was like
Did
the
they
most
really? Because I didn't watch it, so they
it
mailed
was
it
the
in.
most lackluster, like, oh look, it kind of looks like me. It was very, very like it seemed forced.
to me that they were not as amazed because they've seen this before. Like when you look at those people, it's like it's Naomi Ackie, Pedro Pascal, Gina
They're all
Carano.
new, yeah.
All three of those are new. Whereas like you look at Daisy Ridley, John Boyega,
Oscar.
Kelly Marie Tran, like
Even Kelly Marie Tran mailed it in?
She was excited with Naomi. She was excited. She was more excited than Daisy was. I would say Daisy was
she
the
was
most
excited
like,
for Naomi.
Yes.
She's like, wow, man, you really love this. But
yeah.
she wasn't
Wait,
like
Lacey,
blown
even
away
your
by
boy
her
Boyega
character.
mailed it in?
He was excited, but not. I've
He
seen
kept
him more
talking about
excited
all of their
previously.
hair.
The hair was right, yeah.
And how they kept getting the hair right. So thanks for getting the hair right. And it's like,
it was just very like I kept cringing because I was like, this seems so forced. Which if you look at Pedro Pascal, he's wearing the same clothes he was wearing at D23. So I bet they shot this like in the middle of D23 or after everything. And those are long days. I've worked events like that, so they can be long. So I can only imagine as someone like a Daisy Ridley, like you're asked all the same questions over and over and over again, and then you have to sit there and look at your toy and talk about it. Like they're probably like, guys, come on. But whereas the Mandalorian people were like, we have a TV show.
Oh, that's cool.
My favorite part was Pedro Pascal playing with the toys while Anthony Carboni and Gina Carano are like talking about it. Like she's asking genuine questions and he's just like, oh, I'm like fighting with them. It was like the funniest thing. And the camera guy was just zooming in on him and he's like making faces at the camera. You could just tell he's having like a total ball making the show and promoting it. And that's what I love to see. I feed off of other people's energy. So if I sense that people are excited, I get excited. And if I sense people are getting awkward or feeling weird, like the first half of that live stream, I was like, ugh. I was like cringing.
Yeah.
The other thing too, it just feel like naturally it's about the toys. So it's going to feel like a commercial. I felt like it was a lot of commercial and less about the toys. Like they didn't talk a lot about the toys. They threw in all these other things. And then they did some interviews that weren't really long, so they didn't really add anything to the event. And I just felt like, I don't know, they promoted it as this big live stream event, and it just felt
Well, can I ask
lackluster.
Because again, you two watched it. I didn't see this video.
It was pre-recorded, except for Warwick's part.
Oh, I figured the main actors were they were like, I'm
Yeah.
not doing live. Like
It was
no.
at D23, yeah.
So when you say they were interviews, like, were they any like? Was it just like softball questions? Like, so is it glad to be back?
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah.
How does it feel to be a toy?
Yeah, stuff
That's-
like that.
How are you feeling?
I mean, I'm not trying to be negative here, but come on, can you just give us some like?
How ready? They keep asking like Naomi, like, what is it like to work with these legacy actors like Lando? And she's like, it's great.
Why can't they ask them questions like, so you filmed in Jordan? Like, was it in like, give me something. It doesn't have to be like a 2020 interview, but give me something like, was there unrest in the area? Was it
I'm telling you,
because there's another person out there, a media person that's saying, why the heck are you asking about Jordan? Like, why don't they talk about something that people care about? Like what it's like working with
that was
Billy
just
D.
one
Williams.
example. Yeah. But
I know, but I'm saying like, I'm on your side, but I know why they're not asking it because most people are probably go, why didn't they ask him good questions?
it's like-
Why do they keep asking him weird, dodgy questions?
when they
why
tell-
don't you just ask?
when they ask athletes, did it feel good to win today? It's like, what do you
Yeah.
think I'm going to say right now?
Yeah.
Does it feel good to be
But
an
they're
action
asking-
figure? Imagine they were like, this sucks. Like Harrison Ford probably would do that. He's like, that's such a dumb question. I'm going to answer it like a dummy. And rips the figure off.
Yeah.
He actually did that once on like Fallon. He rips the leg off. But I don't know. That's just cool. What about those two characters though?
So I was going to talk about that. There's one cool reason why I enjoyed watching it, which was a confirmation of some leaks that we've had, which this is the first time, if I'm not mistaken, this is actual like official straight up confirmation. C-3PO with the bandolier and the bowcaster. That's happening. It's 100% happening because we saw it in one of the toys and then later they revealed it and Anthony Daniels is like, no spoilers,
Yeah.
he's talking about that. It's like, that's definitely happening. So that was kind of cool. They also said that he was paired with, and one of Anthony Daniels' new favorite characters is someone named Babu Frick. And Babu Frick, they showed the little toy, and it was a character that we've seen in a leak, like an image of this character. I have some theories about who that character might be, but the way they describe him again is like some sort of like, oh, he builds droids and stuff. So, oh, you're saying he repairs things. Like, okay, so we got a little bit of character confirmation there. Another one, we had the Falcon, and Boyega was being shown the new Lego Falcon. They open it up, they show him in the Falcon, and then they also show this other character, and they said that his name is Bulio. And then they immediately start going into like, well, we can't really talk about Bulio. And it's like, ha ha ha, yeah, everybody in the episode 9 cast, whenever they see him, they're like, let's go ahead and put him away. We're not talking about that character.
And they brought him up again later.
Yeah, they brought him up again later.
Yeah.
And kind of dodged who he is and what he's doing. But this is, you look at the toy and you're like, oh, I know that. I recognize that character. It was from that same leak where we got all the character different costumes and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was some other stuff. What else did we get?
The Funko video.
That's right. The Lando Funko video. So we get this short little... it's literally a short by Funko Pop, and it starts off with the Falcon on a desert planet, so it could be anyone, but then Lando, old Lando, walks up to it, kind of pats it on, like, hey, it's my old baby, and he kind of like reluctantly like gets onto the ship, and then he goes on this little adventure through the ship where they're trying to like stop everything from breaking, and then when they fix everything, they fly away. So it's Rey and Lando, BB-8 and Dio all on the Falcon together, and it looks very clearly like they're leaving Pasaana.
Because she's in that outfit, yeah.
She's in the outfit, the planet that I've speculated that Lando's on. This is just further confirmation for me that they're going to meet him on Pasaana, and he's going to... That's probably why they're there in the first place. Go get Lando. Get Lando, they recruit him, and he's like, oh, the good old Falcon. All right, fine, you won me over. And then they leave. So there's a lot here to kind of unpack, and it's funny because it's just like toys, you know? It's just like, they're just like, hey, what do you think of the C-3PO toy? And we're like, oh my God, confirmations, and
it's like
all this crazy stuff. Yeah.
We're 3 months away from the end of the Skywalker saga. What have you learned the most from? And you're like, Funko Pops.
Yeah, Chewbacca will be completely gold in this movie.
Yeah, right. Not on
well,
fire.
I have to say, though, they did release some information with the descriptions for Poe, Jannah, and Rose Tico with the costumes at the display.
Yep. And Rose said she's going to be in the movie for 3 minutes.
Do you want me to read it?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I thought you were making a joke. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I thought one was revealing, one wasn't, and the other one was like half.
Read Rose's because I got it. Yeah.
So Rose Tico, which by the way, these are all done by Michael Kaplan. If you go back and our 12 people that behind the scenes that we love, our Kessel Run, I said Michael Kaplan.
He did the costumes. Yeah.
He did. Yeah. So they're designed by Michael Kaplan. So Rose Tico's is, Rose has risen through the ranks from lowly engineering support crew to military commander. She leads the engineering corps in making the necessary modifications to keep the resistance gear operational. They love that term, operational. As well as countering new advancements in first order technology.
Translation?
What do you guys think about that?
She's going to be in the movie for 3 minutes.
Sitting with Leia pressing buttons.
Yep. I said this months ago. I said...
You did.
JJ's coming in. He wants to finish up his characters. He's going to respect what Ryan created and bring Kelly Marie Tran in to appease fans and keep them at bay. He's going to give her a big title, like some kind of commander or some kind of... She worked her way up. She's not just banging on pipes like she used to. And that's going to be his way to be like, she's still important, but she's going to be in the movie for 2 or 3 minutes, and she'll have an interaction with Finn over an intercom or something like that. But that's it. I think that right there is confirmation. She's going to be in this movie for no more than 3 minutes.
She's even dressed like Poe. She's got the tan shirt with the green pants.
Yeah, yeah. And she'll probably command people and like do something like, look at screens and say, we need to do this, or,
So when I read the description, I thought, okay, so who's important in a James Bond movie? James Bond, number one, right? But who are these other characters that are also very important? Moneypenny, M, Q. Yeah, that's right. Q's pretty important because in every movie, Q comes in and says, here's what I did. I upgraded your blank and I hooked you up with a thing and use this. You'll need it later.
Yeah.
And that just description read totally as that,
So
which is
Rose is going to give Finn an exploding pen.
yeah, basically like sort of like, hey, here's your communicators. We'll be in contact with you if you need us. I upgraded your X-Wing, or I got you this new orange model.
Yeah.
Model O. And just whatever that is. And it'll come with all the tricks and bells and whistles. And then that will be because of Rose.
Yeah.
So
The other one was Jannah, and hers is from an oceanic moon. Jannah leads a band of warriors ready to charge against the forces of the First Order.
That's got to be Endor, right?
Maybe.
her description read to me as like human Ewok.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What if she does like bring the Ewoks back in? What if she's the one? All right, what else?
Maybe. Poe Dameron, which was Poe Dameron has grown much during his time with the Resistance. Under General Organa's guidance, he has tempered his impulsive nature and learned to lead responsibly.
I feel like that wasn't very revealing at all.
That is the most like everyone knows that's his path. Like I think we all said that.
Yeah.
Like he became a smart leader when he's like, no, we need to do this. Like, yeah, that's cool. No, I'm excited. I like the toy stuff because, like I said, you're able to connect dots. Like James, you're saying, like maybe Lando is here, and that I like that because they want us to know this stuff, so it's not obviously too revealing to blow the movie lid off. So it's cool to me. But good things. I'm not going to be buying Force Friday stuff, but I'm excited to see what people pick up. I live vicariously through everyone who picks up this stuff and like tweets about it and talks about it and that sort of thing.
There is one thing that I'm going to be buying, and it's those Knights of Ren figures.
Oh yeah,
because
cool.
they sell those types of toys in like the Disney store, and you see them all over the place, and they do them all for the different properties and stuff. When it comes to the Star Wars ones, they're like not super detailed, but they're kind of like surprisingly detailed for like $20 or whatever the toy is to get all those figures.
Yeah.
And if they did a full like Black Series Knights of Ren set, oh man, I would want that. But it's gonna be like $120, to get like all of them, including like a Kylo and the set, and they'll probably do it with some sort of like landscape, which makes it $200 or something. And I don't want to get into all that. This is absolutely perfect. These things, they all come in one box. It's the Knights of Ren plus a couple other cool stormtroopers like Sith troopers, jetpack troopers, stuff like that. But it's all of them. They're all there. I'm 100% buying that. They're not too big. You can put them on your desk and have a cool like Knights of Ren setup. Oh man, I'm actually pumped. They got me.
Nice.
They got one thing out of me for sure. That's
cool.
it. Scandals Rundown. Yeah.
Guys, I was going to do a legit full-on Scoundrels Rundown, but we're up on time, so I'm just going to say this. If you're going to New York Comic Con this weekend, Lacey and I will...
there's a bucket.
Lacey and I will be there on Friday and Saturday, so hit us up and stop by and say hi if you see us. Like I said, Friday and Saturday, New York Comic Con. And of course, we'll be doing some coverage from there as well. So make sure you're keeping your eye on our Twitter account, RBATSWNN, and Star Wars Newsnet. And of course, our YouTube channel. So that's it. I'm not doing a full rundown. We don't have time. So if Lacey is okay, we'll send it to her now. For you out there listening, Lacey like found a bug in her room. So now she's like losing her mind. So bear with us here.
I hate bugs. I'm sorry.
Are you
right.
good?
I'm good. I'm
Okay.
good. I'm good.
All right, let's send it to Lacey for Ask the Resistance.
Okay. It is time for Ask the Resistance Bug Edition.
I've been wondering, what are midichlorians?
All right. So the first question is from John Reese. And he asks, will Lando charm his way out of a sticky situation? And he wrote it situation
Nice.
in The Rise of Skywalker. So ladies first, now that I'm okay. Yes, I think he will. I think we're going to see some of that Lando charm. I don't think it's going to be out of a situation in the sense of like young Lando getting out of things, because I don't think you're going to see a lot of Billy D like jumping around and like doing crazy fight scenes. But I could see him sweet talking his way to like try to woo Rey or like talk to Jannah, maybe. I don't know, maybe. You don't know. It might be funny that like he's like, hey, this is my ship. And she's like, no, get out. Like, you know, because she's tough.
Yeah.
I think also it could be a scenario, because we talked about this a little bit a while ago. It could be that they go to the Pisana to find Lando or hear of finding someone, and then they get in trouble and he gets them out of it. Like, I could see that being a scenario. Like, our heroes are trapped with some other aliens and creatures that don't understand them, and then he's like, no, they're with me.
All right.
I think that's what Zorii is. And they've already confirmed
that's
that.
fair. That's fair.
That Zorii helps get the Resistance out of a sticky situation on Snow Planet?
Kajimi.
What's it? Kajimi.
I just want to see Lando smack someone with his cane like Yoda.
Yeah.
All right. Up
Where's
next
my money?
is Darth Del Rio. Oh, John, thank you for your question. Darth Del Rio at Darth Rio. He asks, do you think this is a one-time deal, or do you think Mr. Feige will become a bigger presence in Lucasfilm as time goes by? James, we talked a little bit about this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if you remember from earlier, it's like it's too hard to tell right now. But I would venture that right now the deal is he's helping to produce a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But don't be surprised if at any point, if they feel like it's going well, if he wants to continue, if he likes what's going on, it's on the table. It's absolutely on the table that he's going to stick around. I'm going to say right now that I'm going to say that he will. I'm going to say that he will stick around and produce more content, because I think under him, he seems like a very get along with everybody kind of guy, make things work, except for the people at Sony.
I've heard that he is marvelous.
Yeah. I've heard that he's not DCious.
What? Well, that was
All right.
marvelous answer. Next up is Ryan Simi.
I don't think she got it.
At Ryan Scott 00.
Yeah.
And he asks, will any original trilogy characters appear in a Star Wars film that takes place after The Rise of Skywalker? I'm wearing a Rise of Skywalker t-shirt. John, what do you think?
Yeah, baby. Chief Palpatine's coming back again like Brett Favre. He's gonna like, you didn't kill me. I'm back, baby. No, I do. I am still convinced that we are just getting to know Rey, Finn, Poe, and with that, I think you're guaranteed to see Chewbacca again. I think Joonas is going to be playing that character for a while. And then I'll put a probably on 3PO and R2. Now, whether Anthony Daniels is still doing it then, who knows? I know he's getting up there. But I think definitely Chewbacca. And probably C-3PO and R2. I don't think we'll see Yoda anymore, though, or any of the other human characters, but those three, yes, with a definite book it on Chewie.
Wow, book it. And last but not least is Mark at the Kind of Vacans. And he asks, will Jannah be related to anyone? James? Quickly answer.
I'm going to say yes, and I'm probably wrong.
All right.
I say Lando. if anybody.
That's what I'm saying.
I will say
It's Rey's sister.
she is related to.
No.
I don't know. JJ probably did it. I bet she is related to Lando.
It's just her answer at Star Wars Celebration was so like, she could have just been like, no.
Yeah.
But she was like, well, they get to know each other.
Right. She's
blah,
like,
blah.
my initials are JC in the movie.
And then the other thing too was
She didn't say
today
that.
was on the live stream for the toys, they cut from Lando and Anthony Daniels and who was on that? Was it Joonas? To Joonas with Naomi. And she said to Joonas, like kind of side, low on the microphone, was, I really love that man. Like, why would she really love Lando unless she spent a lot of time with him? That's not just like an off, like the cuff, like, oh, I love Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Like the way she said it was a very like, oh, I love him so much. Like I've spent a lot of time with him.
And you know what?
Why would you spend a lot of time with him?
We tried to get an interview with Billy D at the Comic-Con this coming weekend, and he's not doing any interviews.
He's not
And
allowed
I'm
to.
thinking back to 1980. He accidentally spilled the beans on Vader being Luke's father. Add 39 years to that man, and he'd probably spill the beans if you gave him like a couple of like questions like, so did it feel great coming back? Like you butter him up. Yeah, feels great coming back. How'd it feel being in the Falcon? Oh, so cool. Felt like back in the day.
So what's Palpatine like? He's actually really mean still.
Yeah. And then you're like, is it weird having a daughter in the movie? And he's like, well, you know, oh.
That's what I was going to say. If you asked him directly, he probably wouldn't answer it. But if you put it in there just as like as if we already knew.
And then
you
they
know
just
what I mean?
like pull him away and they like kick us out.
So it's crazy. We just got the news that Naomi Ackie is in fact playing your daughter, and see if he stops you. Like, that's not true, because if he goes for it,
then I go on the blog
he's just
and
gonna
then
assume
it's
out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just ruined Billy D's life.
I love
yeah.
that. That's good.
No, but
right.
yeah.
Anyway.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your questions. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN and send us your questions with either hashtag Ask the Resistance or at our Twitter account. And you could be on the show. Back to you, John.
All right, guys, thanks so much for watching, listening, being a part of the Resistance. If you haven't yet, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, all those sorts of things. You can go to resistancebroadcast.com. And that way, you'll see all the ways that you can subscribe to us. You can buy a t-shirt. You can become a patron on our Patreon page. And you'll be right there on our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com, which you should be going to there every day anyway for your latest Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more, and our upcoming New York Comic Con coverage. So go check out Star Wars Newsnet every morning when you're having your breakfast and get up to date on Star Wars news. But like I just said about our Patreon page, patreon.com/resistance broadcast if you want to support us and get access to additional content. If you're not tired of us twice a week, we get a lot of content up there for you guys, starting at $2 a month all the way up to tier 5, which is our generals. And speaking of our generals, I want to send a special thank you to our generals Carmelo, Brian Shalito, Andrew Staley, Neil Lowry, Jeremy Myers, Neil Shaw, David Probus, aka General Greybeard, and John Reese, aka General Beard, and Val Trichkoff. We salute you guys so much for all your support. You're the absolute best.
Well, just normal beard.
Thank you so much. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks.
Lacey?
When I'm not freaking out about bugs and you want to follow my adventures at New York Comic Con, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gilleran.
Yes, we'll be at Comic-Con on Friday and Saturday. James will be still at the base, right here in the base. Maybe doing a little bit of editing or something, or just enjoying not having to cover a convention. But anyway.
Throwing the ball up against the wall and catching it.
That's a fun one, too. I'm sure Lando does that when he's not doing his Calrissian Chronicles in the cockpit of the Falcon. But anyway, guys, before that we'll be back here with you on Thursday morning where we're going to take our shot and give our final predictions at what we think we're going to see in the final Skywalker Saga trailer. The Rise of Skywalker trailer is upon us soon in the next week or so. So we'll give our guesses, and then we want to hear from you guys. But enjoy your weeks, and we'll see you on Thursday morning with another episode right here on the Resistance broadcast. And we'll see you around, kids.
Bye.
Hope you find your dad.